Yes, you're welcome back to my interlude, right? Okay, today we want to look at ERP. What is ERP? Enterprise Resource Planning. That is what we want to look at. ERP, right? It's what? Enterprise uh, Resource, right? Enterprise Resource Planning. This is it, ERP. Now, what does it mean? My own definition is simply taking a physical company and throwing it into the computer system. That is basically my own definition. So take a physical company, logically throw it into the computer system, and then let it begin to work. That is the meaning of ERP for me. So what does that mean? Let's take a company, for example, that is into the buying and selling of A4 paper. As simple as that. Now, what will be the process flow for this company to buy and then to sell their A4 paper? That is what we are just going to look at. Now you begin to appreciate what we've been doing in Python, where we are talking about functions, right? And procedures and all that. So you will see how those computer programs that you write are not going to do the job that a human being will have done physically. And then you begin to understand as we go further the concept of AI, where AI is now being introduced, what AI is going to do, and the purpose, what you as a human being will now be doing, and what AI will be doing. Like I said, in one of my videos, if you watch my videos, you will see I told you that AI is not new. It has always been there, right? But it's just that we are giving a form to it now. And at the end of the day, the AI will appear just like you as a human being doing the job. So then what will be your own role as a human being if you have AI like this, which we are already seeing doing the job? That will simply be that a human being will become a thinking man. You will now be thinking for the AI, right? Why the AI will be doing. So in a company where you have 20 people doing a particular job, you just need two people, one AI and one human being. The human being will think while the AI would operate. Simple as that. So you need to elevate yourself to being a thinking man. That is the future. It's already here with us. So don't say it will not be in this time. It's already here. It is coming. So let's look at that concept of a company that is dealing with buying and selling of A4 paper. How does it work? And the concept with ERP. All right. So now, in a company, what do you have? You have HR, right? Let's say you have procurement, right? Let's say you have inventory, right? Let's say you have finance, right? You have sales, you have marketing. You have all these. Let's just take this. For example, you have HR, procurement, inventory, finance, sales, marketing. Now, a company that is into the purchase of A4 paper and then sell the A4 paper, how are they going to do it? The contact point. Now, this company will have to employ staff, right? And these staff are the people that will do those jobs of purchasing the A4 paper and then, so this HR will recruit into this procurement department. HR will recruit into inventory department. HR will recruit into finance department. HR will recruit into sales and into marketing, right? That is what this HR will do. And then they will take care of other things like their salary and payment and everything. HR will do that. Now, these people will have to market the company, telling people what they do, right? Sales will sell, right? Procurement will buy the A4 paper, and these people they will sell the A4 paper. Inventory will have to keep the A4 paper, isn't that so? Now the money that is going to come in and the money that is going to be released for the purchase and for the gain and whatever it is will be kept by these people. This is a process for a company. Now, how does an ERP do all this? A program has to be written, right? And then that program will have to be installed. And then everybody will have to sit in front of their computer collecting data. And then the program will be working behind the scene to get us to achieve all these things. And then at the end of the day, we will see the money and we'll see our product. So how does an ERP work to achieve that? Let's see that in this class. So the part I am going to look at, I'm going to draw a little diagram, and then I will show you the flow. Now, for a company, what do you think is actually going to flow? That's why they call it currency. Currency, current. From the word current, you get currency, right? Now, what is that? It is money. Money is going to flow. And how is it going to flow? And then the product. So let's see how we are going to demonstrate it. Now, we have two parts. We have the operation, right? And then we have the finance. Now, you will see the A4 paper, which is what the item will move. And then you'll also see money will move. Let's see how is the ERP software going to perform this task. Now, there's what we call demand, right? And supply, right? Okay. So there's going to be a demand for what? A4 paper. There's going to be a demand for A4 paper. So this is the problem that the company wants to solve. They will have to get this A4 paper and then sell it. That is it, right? There's a demand for A4 paper, and then the company is coming in to help to resolve this problem of the demand for the A4 paper. So they have to supply it. Now, how do they bring it in? And then how do they sell it? So they have to take in the stock and then sell the stock. So there are processes. I can't explain all the internal processes, but I'll just show you how the money flow from account department. So the first place, let's look at these guys. Finance. All right. Now, the finance department, to give you an illustration, is like a water tank. So you have this as a water tank in the house. Now, this is your pumping machine. This is your pumping machine. Then this is the house, right? So first you have to pump water into this place. And then you connect the pipe to the house. So once water comes into this place, then water is from the ground, right? You pump the water into the tank, and then you can now open the tap in the kitchen, open the tap in the bedroom, and every other part of the house to use the water. So this is the finance department. So this is money, right? Going in, and then money going out. Going out, right? So this is it. Now, sales people are the one bringing the money in. Sales are the one bringing this money in. While procurement is taking the money out, or other expenses is taking the money out. So that is what you have here. So this finance is like the water tank. That is what they are. So that is why they have what you call ledger, which is this. Now, this their ledger is like this container. That is basically it. This ledger is like this container, but you have so many of it, right? So when the transaction is going to take place, the storeman is going to, the sales is going to tell you that there is a demand for A4 paper. So we need this quantity. Let's say they want to buy 100 rims, 100 rims of A4 paper, right? They want to buy. So they will have to buy this and stock it and then begin to sell out from their store. So how do they do this? Let's take, for example, the process flow. Different ERP have different processes. But let me just pick out one and give you an illustration. Now, we do a PO, right? Purchase order. Now, once a purchase order is done by the procurement department, you see, procurement. Once a purchase order is done by the procurement department, they will print out this purchase order and give it to the supplier. Now the supplier will have to bring this A4 paper, 100 reams. The storeman will receive it into the store and then do all the paperwork and present it to finance department. Now, all these transactions that they've done from procurement to finance does not have any financial impact until the final stage. Now, at the stage of finance, when they do their costing to take the item in, let me show you the flow, right? Because based on this flow, you can actually tell how the money is moving and how the product is moving. Okay, so we have what we call goods received costing. So let's say GRN, goods received note costing. Now, this is a transaction. So now you are going to deal with a supplier. So you have a supplier here. You have a supplier here. Then you have the GRN costing. This is the operational transaction you are going to use for this process. So you have this. Then you have one leg here. And then you have one leg here to what? Your store. Right? This is to your store. Now, when you do this transaction, it will have financial impact. You know, I told you finance department have what you call ledger, right? So this ledger, they have different name for it. So probably here they will have a stock ledger, right? They have a stock ledger. Now, in ERP software, you also have to create this supplier. So there's a supplier account, which means this supplier has a name, right? You have to create this supplier. So the same way you are dealing with a physical person. Now, let's keep the ERP aside. How do you do it? So you raise the PO, you give it to the supplier. The supplier supply the A4 paper, right? And then the storeman will receive it and keep it in the store. Finance will receive the invoice because they have to pay the supplier. That is the process flow. And then after that, you will make sales to what? To your customer. So you go to your store, you take out the A4 paper, and then you give to your customer. You collect money from your customer. Isn't that so? Then you have all your ledgers. We are going to see everything. That is what you do physically, right? Now, the system has to do the same thing. So all those people that you're interacting with, all those locations you're interacting with, you also have to create them in the system, right? So you have to create them in the system. Now, when you create them, you are going to start the process. So it is assumed that in the system, supplier has been created, right? And in accounting, this supplier will be created in a sub-ledger account. So you have the main account, which we call trade account payable, right? Now, under that trade account payable, you now have different suppliers in it. Now, that trade account payable is like a switch in IT. So you have something of this nature. You have um, you have something of this nature. You have something of this nature. Now you have this. Now um, this is one. This is one. This is two. Let's just assume that we have these two suppliers. So you come in here and then you go in here, you go in here, right? So this is the main entrance, which is the control account, is a trade account payable. You have a code for it. Now, inside this trade account payable, you now have all these your suppliers inside. Now, I am dealing with one supplier. So like this supplier, this is one supplier. Now, what am I going to do? When this costing is done, I have to do debit and credit because in finance, what they are dealing with is debit and credit. Now, in engineering, this debit and credit is simply positive and negative, right? That is simply what it is. Positive and negative. That is what debit and credit simply means. Now, in this case now, one debit will have to go to one side and credit will have to go to one side. So in this case, since we are getting the A4 paper from the supplier, we are going to credit the supplier. We are going to credit the supplier ledger, right? Which is this. We are going to credit it. And then we are going to debit the stock ledger, which is, we have another one, not here. We have stock ledger. So we are going to debit this stock ledger. Now, at this point now, we have not paid the supplier. So it is showing in the book that we are owing this supplier money because he has given us goods, which is what the A4 paper. All right. Now, if we want to pay the supplier, we have to use another transaction. And that transaction, probably bank payment, right? There's another transaction, so bank payment. Now, that one will come this way, and then this one will be bank, right? So this is the transaction. So in this transaction, we will what? We will debit this supplier, and then we will credit our bank since we are paying from the bank. This is what we will do. So in the software, you have to create this transaction. It's a program that you will write. All those functions that I've been teaching you, you have to write them to do this job. So the software will have to debit this account. Now, credit this account when the person gave you the A4 paper. Now, when you pay, you debit this account. So credit, debit will nullify, right? Now, you credit your bank, but you debit your stock. It means that the goods is here. So the money that left this place brought in goods into this place. So we have the A4 paper in the store. Now we have to sell. So in the next class, I'm going to teach you the selling part, how this selling part will be captured, right? That is basically what I will teach you. So I'm just showing you the interlude of what all the program that I'm teaching you is basically going to be used for. And that is just what I'm explaining to you now so that you will understand. Because when people are asking me, all these things you are teaching, what are we using it for? Right? This is it. You are using all those languages that I've been teaching you to write a real program that you are using to work in the real world. That is what it is. So in the next class, I'll teach you. Now, this part is for the purchase of the A4 paper. In the next class, I'll teach you how you sell the A4 paper. Right? So till then, bye-bye.